Actor Matthew McConaughey is flipping the script for his first book. It's a memoir drawn from his diaries, which he kept for 36 years. It is called Greenlights.
And we are so happy to announce that Matthew McConaughey is here with us. Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me. I am tardy for class.
Where were you? Where were you?
I'm in Austin, but I made the biggest rookie mistake by why I missed earlier coming on. I'm not even going to say it. It's embarrassing. It hadn't happened in years, but it happened this morning.
You didn't set an alarm clock.
No, I set the alarm clock. This is where it gets even more ridiculous.
Okay, let's hear it. Come on.
No, don't worry about it.
I understand military time. I understand military time. For whatever reason, last night when I set my alarm, I inverted it. Anyway.
Well, Matthew, I'm glad that you're raising your kids there in Texas, in a southern state. Why did you decide to write all this down, the journals from all of your past events, and then write this book? Because let's be honest, you don't need this on your resume.
No, I don't need it on my resume. Look, I've been keeping diaries, journals, whatever you want to call them, for 36 years. So since I was 14 years old, I was writing things down. Now, mind you, what do most people go to their journal for when they're having trouble in their life, when they're trying to figure things out? I did write in my journal when I was trying to figure things out. When my girlfriend broke up with me, or I had a heartbreak, or was getting a bunch of pimples on my face, or what have you. But I also went to my journal. I noticed when things were going well for me, when I was catching green lights, when I was feeling like I was successful, my relationships were successful, my career was successful.
Right.
So what I found is that when I would get in a rut again in life, is I could go back to my diaries and see and dissect the times when I had success. And I found habits that I had when I was successful and happy in my life, and the happiest. I found it was who I was hanging around with, where I was going, how much sleep I was getting, what I was doing. And when I would go back to times when I was successful and look at my diary, it would help me recalibrate and get back in line in times where maybe I was having a little trouble.
Wow, fascinating. Also, I'm just looking back at your book, and you just say, too, you're not from royalty. You're from you're from a group of cattle thieves, as well as a bodyguard for Al Capone. Describe your heritage.
Well, that's it. I went back and looked at my heritage, and there was no. Yeah, there's definitely no royalty. We didn't. There's nobody back there. There's no hidden bag of gold buried in some yard over in Ireland somewhere. No, we were. There was some cattle thieving for sure. We had a bodyguard for Al Capone. We had a bunch of riverboat gamblers. Settled in America, into West Virginia and Little Rock, Arkansas. And then down into southern Louisiana, and then slowly back over to Texas, where we are now. Yeah, that's my lineage. But you know what? The family that I grew up in, as you see in the book, as wild as they sometimes appear to be, there was one thing that was never in question in our household: the love. The love was never in question, and that I'm very happy to say.
That is terrific. I know that you have been a competitive guy. You were drafted by the Green Bay Packers at one point, and
my dad was.
Oh, your dad was. Apologies. But you are apparently you were very competitive with your brother. I was reading about a contest you had with your brother at a younger age.
A contest I had with my brother at a younger age? Well, we had a few. Can you give me another hint?
No. Tell us about a couple of them.
Well, see, actually, my brothers were, like, my oldest brother's 16 years older than me, and my middle brother's 7 years older than me. So actually, there wasn't that much competition because the eldest one of the three of us could always dominate the other one. So my middle brother was actually more someone who I looked up to. He was sort of my hero growing up. He was the inspiration for many of the general inspiration for many of the characters I've played, starting with Wooderson from Dazed and Confused. Pat, my middle brother Pat's always been my lucky charm.
That's great.
He's my brother. He's the one I talk about at the beginning. He was my oldest brother Rooster's 10-year-old birthday present. My oldest brother Rooster wanted a little brother for his birthday, so Mom and Dad adopted Pat. And they went to Pat every year and said, hey, anytime you want to go back and meet your adopted blood parents, we'll take you there. He said no every year until he was 19. And finally, he goes, I want to go meet him. So they drive back up to Dallas to go meet Pat's blood parents for the first time. They pull up to the curb of the house. Pat gets out, goes inside. Less than 2 minutes later, Pat's back in the car, said, okay, we can go. And my parents are like, well, wait a minute. You saw your parents. That's it. You were just in there for 2 minutes. He goes, yeah, I just wanted to see if my dad's hairline was going because I feel like
That's what matters.
Right.
Matthew, I know with everything going on in our country right now, we're almost less than 2 weeks away from the election in Hollywood. Some people in Hollywood are very vocal about what they think of this president. And back in 2017, it was so refreshing to hear you say this. We're going to play this soundbite.
Well, they don't have a choice now. He's our president. And it's very dynamic and as divisive of an inauguration in time that we've ever had. At the same time, it's time for us to embrace, shake hands with this fact, and be constructive with him over the next 4 years.
So what was the reaction of your friends in Hollywood when you said that? You know, growing up, you grew up in Texas,
Yeah.
I grew up in the South too, and we were taught, even in church, no matter who is elected, you pray for your leaders, you pray for the leaders of this country, and you support our country. But what was the reaction of folks in Hollywood when you said that?
Well, most of my reaction was fine and understood it, and people that know me understand exactly what I was talking about as well. There were a few on the fringe that, you know, if you said anything like I said there, they were like, you know, put me over here and said certain things, but that'll happen. Look, it's about, you know, and look at where we are right now. I've got a theme in the book is when you're dealing with the inevitable, when faced with the inevitable, get relative. Well, right now, 2 weeks out from the election, we're in the relative stage. It's not inevitable who's going to win. After that happens, whether it's an incumbent in Trump or whether it's Biden, after it happens is when it's time to get constructive and not be in denial. That comment that I made back then was about, hey, whoever is still going, I do not believe it. I don't believe what happened. It's time to get constructive and not deny the fact of whatever has happened, to get constructive and embrace the situation. That's not just for a situation like that. That goes for us a lot of times, a lot of things in life. So many times people deny certain realities and you miss it. You miss dealing with it in whatever way you need to via the denial. And obviously, whoever it's going to be that's going to be Commander-in-Chief and President of the United States of America, that's not something, hopefully, that we're going to be able to deny or be able to argue about. I hope it's a clean election. I hope the election is clean, and whichever way it goes, that there is a very clean transformation and transport of power, or if there is a transport, or if Trump stays, whichever way it goes, I hope that it's clean and that there's no debate, and that we can head into 2021 knowing very clearly who our commander-in-chief is. Hopefully we can know that on the 4th of November.
That'll be, or even on the 3rd, that night might be interesting. Have you thought about who you're voting for?
Yeah, I've thought about it, and I'll keep that to that to myself.
Then let me follow up. I know one thing that ticks you off: totally politicization of the coronavirus, and that's what you've noticed over the last 8 months, and that's what you've taken action and been commended for it, and justifiably. But the politicization of this entire thing has hurt our progress.
Well, it has, but you know what? I'm not going to sit here and say the word unbelievable. One, that's my least favorite word. Two, you know how it is. The world out there watching knows how it is. Everything gets politicized. But when we have something that is coming that is brand new, that is harmful, and we've got to continually balance this sort of our economic welfare with our biological survival, I've seen both sides. I've seen the right and the left utilize and count only the bodies that were useful to win for their party. And it curdles my stomach, man. I have not appreciated it. And so what it's sort of done is come at a time in a perfect storm. And we've got a coronavirus, we've got a cultural revolution, and we've got an election year. We've got unemployment, people looking for identity, so they're running to the extremes. You know, we've got a lot of work to do as a country. And for me, I'll say you my version, and people go, oh, this is a foreign place of compromise. No, I don't believe it is at all. I'm actually aggressively centric in this way. I'll meet you in the middle here, and we've got to come together as a country, whatever happens in this election right now. We can do better as individuals and as a people and as a community, as Americans. We can do better.
Well, Matthew, one thing about the coronavirus, for a lot of us, we are spending so much time with our families. And,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of parents who had been rushing out the door to get to work suddenly are at home with the kids.
Yeah.
Their relationships in many instances are getting better. Suddenly,
Yes.
the kids admire their parents. I never
Yeah.
knew what you did. Your book, Greenlights, is all about, you know, a lot of it looks at your past, but a lot of it looks at your future through your children. So can
Yeah.
you give us some tips, things that you have figured out the hard way?
Sure. I can try. Things that I figured out the hard way. Look, values are what I think my parents, especially my father, really instilled in me and my two brothers. You know, I remember getting my first butt whoopings were for saying I can't instead of saying I'm having trouble. For saying I hate you and for lying.
Yeah.
That's three pretty good reasons to get in trouble. Now, what was instilled in those forms of discipline? What do I remember? I don't remember the short-term pain of getting whooped. What I remember is, oh, don't say I can't. Don't ever believe you can't.
Right.
Don't hate. And tell the truth. Three pretty good reasons to get in trouble. And I remember that was certain. I remember that's when I tell my stories of our family's discipline, which sometimes would be what people term violent. I tell them as love stories. Like I tell those stories, and I remember each one specifically of when and how and why I got in trouble at those times for saying those words. And I look back and I go, I wouldn't have traded that moment for anything. I wouldn't have traded that sort of immediate and short-term pain that I had, whether it was whatever you know the whooping was, for the values that were instilled for me for that. Yeah. I'm trying to push that in different ways. I have a different way of going about it than my family did, but I'm still trying to instill that into our kids too. Camille and I both are. And look, you mentioned it, this Corona time, it's been in some ways tragic. It's been at least extremely awkward. But we're in it. So being in it, how can we get relative with the inevitable fact that how can we see some green light assets of this time?
Right.
I have gotten closer with my mother. My grandkids are much closer with their grandmother. She's living with us. I've now leaned in to see what my kids like to do as their hobbies. We spend more time together in the kitchen, more family time. And we already spent time in the kitchen, but now we spend even extra time. So it's brought us together in ways that we were forced to come together. And I've heard that from a lot of families, saying that they've been forced to spend more time together, forced to do inventory on themselves, and that they will actually come out of this whenever it's time, better families and tighter families.
Matthew, we only have about a minute and a half left because our show is about to be over. But real quickly, what's your favorite movie and why that you made?
Favorite movie and why? You know what? I'm going to say Mud. And I put that top list for this reason. You know, my father passed away in 1993, 5 days after I started shooting my first film, Dazed Confused, which I didn't know that was going to be a one-off hobby that summer, and it turned out to be a 28-year career. But I say Mud because this is the one I've had dreams of my dad coming up to me and putting his arm around me and going, "Hey, buddy, you seen this movie Mud?" And I'm like, "No, sir." He goes, "Oh, you got to see it. Let's go see it together." I've had dreams of he and I going to the theater, sitting on the couch, watching that film, and him saying, I've heard him say, "Hey, buddy, Mud, it's a good one. It's a good one." That's what he used to say if he really liked something. "Oh, it's a good one." And so that's the one, Mud. I can see watching that with my dad today.
I'll tell you, Matt, you did a great job on the book. I find it fascinating and really humanized yourself because you didn't grow up in a perfect setting, but man, you're making the most of it from here on in. Congratulations. I think people are going to learn a lot about themselves as well as about you.
Well, thank you. That's the goal. Hey, here's to catching more of these. Okay?
That's right.
Green lights.
Green
Check
light.
out his book. It's called Greenlights. And Matthew McConaughey, thank you for joining us at 8:30 in the morning and not 8:30 at night, although Tucker Carlson's going to miss you.
I was tardy.
Thank you, sir.
All right.